Hey everybody, so welcome back. So for today's project, we're going to talk about a very common issue with your outdoor power equipment, especially if you have a push mower that's run by a Briggs and Stratton engine. This setup is pretty common out there. It's a Briggs and Stratton 3.5 horsepower, 4-cycle motor. And what will happen is over time, the mower will start running poorly. It'll sputter. It almost like it sounds like it's going to stall. And what will happen is you'll get evidence of a lot of black smoke coming out of the exhaust, and it doesn't want to run right and everything else. So why don't we go ahead and start it up? I'll just kind of show you what mine is doing. So hopefully this will kind of give you an indication of what the fix is before we go any further. So why don't we go ahead and start it. Alright, so there you go. As you can hear, it's running up, it's running down, or what we'll call the description. It's essentially surging, and what it is, it's surging because it's getting too much gas, and that is the reason why there's black smoke coming out of the exhaust. So what it is, it's a torn diaphragm that goes in between the carburetor and the fuel tank. It's a pretty simple fix, so why don't we go ahead and start pulling everything apart, and let's see what we need to do to fix it. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is remove the air cleaner, and the air cleaner is just held on by a single bolt going through the plastic air box. So let's go ahead and remove this now, and we'll go to the next step. Alright, so the next step is essentially what we're going to do is we're going to remove the carburetor and the fuel tank off as one assembly. And to do that, there's a couple things we have to do to allow the tank to be removed from the engine. So the first thing you want to do is you want to remove the linkage that holds the carburetor return springs and the advance off from the advance lever. And what there's just a little metal rod that's going through this plastic thing. And what you're going to do is I'm just going to unbend it, and I'm going to pop that out. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to remove the plastic fuel line so it's off the carburetor. And then there's looks like it's either a 7/16 or a 1/2-inch bolt that's holding a tank to the engine. And then there's supposed to be another bolt that's holding a tank to the engine as well through this bracket, but mine is already missing, so you'll need to take that bolt off. So why don't we go ahead and do that now. We'll remove the linkage and the fuel line and pop that off. And we remove the tank from the engine. Alright, so the gas tank and carb assembly has been removed from the lawnmower. So it's sitting on the bench, and what I did is before I take it apart, obviously drain the fuel out of the tank just so you don't make a mess. And then I took a couple of acid brushes and some carb cleaner, and I cleaned the whole surface of the tank and everything else just to clean it up, with all the grass and dirt and everything else. So, last thing you want to do is, as you're taking this thing apart, is have dirt and sediment and other garbage fall into the tank and cause another issue. Alright, so now we're at the point where we want to remove the carburetor assembly from the tank, and there's about 5 screws. There's one there, one there, there's one there, and then there's one there, and then once you do that, the carburetor assembly is going to separate from the tank. So why don't we go ahead and do that now. Alright, so the carb has been removed from the tank, and here is the problem child that causes all the issues. So what it is, there's a diaphragm and then there's a gasket, and essentially this diaphragm acts as the fuel pump when the engine's pulsing. And over the course of the time, the diaphragm is no longer is flat, it's puckered up and everything else, and it causes more gas to get introduced into the carb, and then it runs rich, and then it sputters, it surges, and everything else. So I went down to Lowe's and I picked up the replacement kit. This was $5. The part number is from Lowe's is 5083. I'll put a link to it in the description on the notes of the video. as far as the price and everything else, but it was like $5. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and open this up, put it on the car, and then we're gonna put it back on and go from there. Alright guys, so the tank and carb assembly have been mounted back on the mower, and the advanced linkage with the springs have been hooked up. So what you want to do is when you're putting this back on, you just want to make sure it's in the neutral position. It's not pinned either left or right. You just want to make sure that it can advance and then return. So, and what I also did, I noticed that this line was kind of loose, so I took a couple small wire ties and I basically put them on both sides to clamp it down. So now it's a little bit held on there, a little bit more secure. Before it was real loose. So why don't we go ahead and start it and see how we did. Alright, so there you go. As you saw, I went ahead and touched the advance to make sure it returned back to the neutral position, and it could idle up and idle down as it needed to. So essentially that's it. That's all you need to do to repair your Briggs and Stratton lawnmower that's surging, idling, up and down, and running rich. As you can see, the process is not that too difficult. Anybody can do this. So as I close this video out, I want to thanks for everybody for watching. If you like what you saw, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you like the video, go ahead and please subscribe. I would love you to be a member of my channel. And if there's any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, go ahead and leave them in the comments box and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And as always, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.